Ever wonder why some guys barely try and still manage to get stuck in a woman's head like a catchy song on repeat? You know the kind. He's not the flashiest guy in the room. He doesn't talk too much, and he doesn't even try that hard. Yet somehow she can't stop thinking about him. It's not just his looks. It's not even just his confidence. It's how he speaks to her. More importantly, it's what he calls her. Because here's the hidden truth most men miss. Words can bypass logic and sink deep into a woman's emotional core. And when those words come in the form of emotionally charged, uncommon nicknames, the effect is hypnotic. It hits her in a place she can't explain. Because it's not just about communication. It's about connection. I'm not talking about tired phrases like babe, honey, or cutie. Those belong to every average Joe out there trying to sound sweet. No, I'm talking about something deeper, more primal, nicknames with emotional gravity. The kind of nickname that makes her pause mid-scroll, smile to herself, and wonder what it is about you that feels different. The kind that makes her heart skip, even if just for a second. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 forbidden nicknames, words most guys don't even think to use, that tap into her deepest psychological triggers. Used the right way, these names can spark playful attraction, ignite emotional curiosity, and yes, even plant the seed of obsession. These aren't just labels, they're keys. Keys that open the doors to her subconscious. One taps into her hunger for excitement. Another triggers her desire to feel seen. And one creates that beautiful storm of emotional confusion that keeps her mentally hooked even when she's trying to forget you. This isn't about slick lines or cheesy flattery. This is about creating a feeling so specific and so intimate that only you could make her feel it. You want her to smile when she sees your name on her screen? You want her to replay your conversations in her head while lying in bed at night? You want her to wonder why she can't quite figure you out? Then pay attention, because these nicknames, if you use them with timing, tone, and just the right edge, can make you unforgettable. Let's get into it. Let's start with one of the most deceptively simple, yet emotionally powerful nicknames you can ever use on a woman: trouble. At first glance, it might sound playful, maybe even a little cheesy. But when you say it with the right timing and just enough mischief in your tone, it becomes a psychological trigger she can't ignore. Because when you call her trouble, you're not just teasing her. You're redefining her role in your story. You're not labeling her the way others do. You're giving her an exclusive title, one that carries with it a hint of danger, a sprinkle of seduction, and a dash of emotional chaos. You're saying, you stir something in me, and I like it, without ever actually saying it. That's power. When you use it in the right moment, maybe when she's giving you that look, or playfully challenging you, or showing up dressed in a way that makes your words catch in your throat, you tilt the balance. You make her feel like she's the one causing the effect, like she's the one in control of your reactions. But here's the trick, don't overuse it. The magic is in the sparseness, the subtle surprise. Say it with a slight grin, a glimmer in your eye, like you're in on a secret only the two of you share. Drop it when she least expects it, and it'll stick to her like perfume on a sweater. Psychologists call this emotional labeling, the act of assigning a word or phrase to a feeling, and in doing so, making that feeling more memorable and intense. You're not just calling her a nickname, you're planting a brand that says, I see who you are beneath the surface, and I like the chaos you bring. It plays directly into the feminine craving to feel different, to feel noticed, to feel like her presence leaves a mark. And guess what? The moment she starts playing into that nickname, teasing you back, smirking, giving you that fake, oh really, response, she's already hooked. Because now it's a private game between the two of you, a story only you and she are writing. And the emotional pull of that is far more addictive than any sweet compliment ever could be. Now let's talk about a nickname that's a little riskier, a little edgier, but when delivered with the right confidence, becomes absolutely magnetic. That nickname is Heartbreaker. At first it might seem like a compliment, but it's so much more than that. It's a challenge, it's a spark, it's a mirror. When you casually look at her, Not with desperation, not with awe, but with a calm, knowing smile and say, "You're such a heartbreaker." You do something powerful. You shift the dynamic. Most guys try to win her over with flattery. They compliment her to death. They play it safe. But you observe her. You study her. You acknowledge her effect. And then you keep your emotional distance just enough to make her lean in. See, when you call her heartbreaker, you're not falling at her feet. You're standing firm in your frame, recognizing her allure without surrendering to it. That alone sets you apart from almost every other man she's met. And that subtle frame shift, it gets her attention fast. This nickname plays on a deep, psychological trigger rooted in feminine identity, the craving to feel both desirable and mysterious. It flatters her, yes, but it also creates a space for intrigue. Because the subtext of that name isn't, "I'm in love with you." It's, "You're dangerous, but I'm not afraid." And that drives her crazy. Think about the emotional paradox you're presenting. You see her power. You acknowledge her magnetism, but you're not hypnotized by it. You're amused. You're intrigued. You're slightly teasing. That's what makes this nickname stick in her brain. Like glitter. Impossible to ignore and hard to wash off. This is where a psychological concept called intrigue bias comes into play. When you're unaffected by something that usually affects others, the brain flags it as important. Her mind starts racing. Why isn't he reacting like other guys? Is he playing a game? Does he really think I'm a heartbreaker? Or is he just messing with me? And without realizing it, she's thinking about you, analyzing your words, replaying that moment and wondering what you really meant. Now here's the key. Your tone must be nonchalant. Never sound bitter. Never say it with resentment or as a defense mechanism. Say it like you're amused, like you're watching a movie where she's the star and you already know the ending. Maybe drop it when she tells a story about an ex who still texts her. Maybe when she flirts with that effortless charm. Or maybe when she gets a little too bold and pushes your buttons. You look at her, smirk and say, "You're such a heartbreaker, aren't you?" Then change the subject. Let it hang in the air like perfume, something she can't quite define, but deeply feels. That single phrase becomes a puzzle. And women love puzzles, especially when they're emotional ones. You're showing her how you see her. You're subtly saying, "I know what you are, but I'm not afraid to call it out." That kind of clarity wrapped in charm, it's unforgettable. And the best part? She'll either try to live up to that label, or she'll try to prove you wrong. Either way, she's engaging with you emotionally. And when emotions are involved, logic disappears. That's where obsession starts to brew. Now for the final nickname, and trust me, this one's not for amateurs. This is the most dangerous, most playful, and most emotionally layered nickname you can ever use. My favorite headache. Just let that settle for a second. At face value, it sounds like an insult, but the emotional contradiction in those three words makes it incredibly compelling. Because the real message is this: you're a mess, but you're my mess. And that kind of emotional ownership, it hits deep. So there you have it, 3 forbidden nicknames that sound simple, but are packed with emotional depth. Trouble, heartbreaker, my favorite headache. Used with confidence, intention, and the right emotional timing. They don't just describe her, they create a private language, a little world that only exists between the two of you. And that is where deep connection begins. You're not just calling her something cute. You're branding a feeling. You're planting seeds in her subconscious that make her smile, question, and most importantly, remember you. If you want to stand out from the crowd, if you want to be the guy she thinks about when the room goes quiet, stop playing safe. Start playing psychological. So tell me in the comments, which one are you going to use first? I read every single one of them. And hey, we're just getting started. In the next video, I'm going to reveal 3 text messages that pair perfectly with each of these nicknames. Texts that make her think about you before she falls asleep and wake up wondering about you the next day. Make sure you're subscribed because this is just the beginning. So now you used one of the forbidden nicknames. You dropped the word trouble when she teased you. You called her heartbreaker with that knowing smirk. Or you sighed and whispered, "You're my favorite headache," during your playful back and forth. And it worked. You saw the spark in her eye. You felt the pause. You caught the smile she tried to hide. But now comes the real test. What do you do next? Because here's the thing. Women don't just remember the moment. They replay it. They build on it. And if you know how to follow up with the right kind of message, one that feels emotionally congruent with the nickname you used, you're not just giving her something to think about. You're becoming the guy she can't stop thinking about. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 powerful text messages, one for each of the forbidden nicknames, that subtly intensify the emotional trigger you planted earlier. These aren't needy texts. They're not pickup lines. They're psychologically engineered. Microhooks, little phrases that nudge her subconscious, deepen her curiosity, and build that mental emotional loop that keeps you replaying in her head. Ready to level up? Let's go. He's into me, but not needy. He notices me, but doesn't worship me. He plays with me, but he respects the dance. That's where the obsession begins. So there you have it. 3 text messages that amplify the effect of each forbidden nickname. These are your next level tools. Emotional. Grenades disguised as casual conversation. Use them wisely, use them sparingly, and use them with confidence. Because when she reads them late at night, when she smiles at her screen, wondering what you really meant, when she starts typing, deleting, typing again, that's when you know you've planted the seed. Now I want to hear from you. Which one are you going to try first? Drop it in the comments below. I read and reply to as many as I can. And if you want to take this to an even deeper level, in the next video, I'm going to show you 3 voice messages that trigger instant emotional connection. Trust me, these are game changers. Make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications, because once you understand how to speak to her subconscious, you'll never get ghosted again.